A picture is worth 1,000 words. Got it? Taking care of us can be so easy.
Take good care of the children.
Hello everyone. Welcome to our panel discussion on the Roving Caregivers Program. This is a flagship initiative of the Caribbean Center for Development Administration and is implemented through the Caribbean Child Support Initiative in our region. The Roving Caregivers Program was actually begun in Jamaica, in Clarendon, and was developed by one of our champions for early childhood education, Miss Joyce Jarrett. This program is now replicated throughout the Caribbean and actually exists in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in Grenada, in Belize, and in St. Lucia. We would like to share this wonderful program with you, and so we will be having a series of persons joining us in different panels throughout our program. We hope you will stay with us. It's my pleasure to introduce to you now Susan Branker-Lashley, who is the Program Director for the Caribbean Child Support Initiative. Susan, it's wonderful to see you. Thank you for joining us. Also with us is Mr. Sean Vargas, who is the coordinator for the Roving Caregivers Program way over in Belize. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. And someone who is integral to the program and has been involved since its concept, initiation, and implementation through 1994 to 1996 is Utilia Burrell, who is the Executive Director for the Roving Caregivers Program and the Coordinator for the Rural Family Support Organization, RUFAMSO, in Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Thank you. This is an intervention that clearly has not only a unique, creative, inspirational, and transformational impact. I want to start off with you, Utilia, so you can give us a sense of how this really began.
Thank you, Elaine.
It's a pleasure.
The Roving Caregivers Program came out of the Teenage Mothers Project.
Yes.
The Teenage Mothers Project was established to deal with the problem of teenage pregnancy. And at that center, we set up a model daycare which took care of the children of the teen mothers. Now, by that time, it was funded by the Bernard Van Leer Foundation.
Yes.
Based on the success of that venture, we felt that we needed to impact more children. So that same program was expanded into the communities and thus born the Roving Caregivers Program.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who would you say needs such a program in the region? Susan, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, I think there's clear evidence that children who are born in socially and economically challenging situations very often need an additional support system.
Yes.
To help level the playing field and certainly to afford them opportunities that they normally would not have.
Yes.
And certainly a program like this targets those who don't have a lot of access to those types of support services, daycare and other. Yes. And I think those are the ones that this program has really been focusing on, those that are most at risk and most vulnerable in rural communities.
Yes. I want to bring you in, Sean, but just let me complete with Utilia. A lot of people may say, foolishness. Parents know. They know how can you have a parent who doesn't know how to stimulate a child from birth to 3 years old? Can you share the experience and why it is not so?
Most parents, and I'm speaking now from experience, felt that children did not begin to learn so early.
Yes.
And what we found is that even though they're parented, it was not necessarily in an appropriate way. So what the Roving Caregivers model has done is to introduce to parents what we call the appropriate way of parenting or an alternative way of parenting. And what we have found over the years is that they have been very receptive. At first they felt that, what are you talking about? The child cannot talk, so how is it that I'm to talk with the child while the child is unable to talk back to me? But having seen the difference when we introduce the play and learn activity, the changes in the child's expression, the smile and so on.
How early do you introduce that?
You can begin from day one, as soon as the child is born, or before the child is born for that matter. The environment, be it before the child is born or after the child is born, really impacts brain development. And this is what we have tried through the Roving Caregivers Program to get across to the parents.
Yes. Later on in the program, we're going to be actually sharing some of the data because we've actually done a study on this. So we're not just talking from opinion, we'll be able to actually give scientific facts as to the impact. But Sean, Belize, tell us a little bit about the impact regionally and as you experience it in your community.
We looked at introducing the program in one of the indigenous communities.
Yes.
And our challenge, what we thought would have been a challenge, is the acceptability of the program. And we moved in and had several meetings with the communities and the parents. And they adjusted and said, yes, they want to see this program in their community. And when we started, the parents had a little shy behavior at the initial stage. And after probing and a couple months of introduction, a couple months of the program, the parents are now singing the songs with us. They're now sitting in on the stimulation. So the program is really working well within the communities that we work.
Have we done any kind of research, Utilia, to understand how did we as Caribbean people lose that cultural pattern of child stimulation, storytelling, singing, chatting, playing? What happened that had us drop the practice, you think?
I think it has to do with the economics. What we found is that whereas before we had the extended family, and if the mother was not there, then you had an aunt or a grandma or cousins. That pattern no longer exists. And the pattern of teen mothers having children and then those children again becoming teen mothers is a part of the problem that has led to the breakdown in our family structures in Jamaica. And the research has shown that once you have that kind of situation existing, then it means that there are going to be different family structures developing. So we now have what we call sibling families, we have barrel families, because parents have gone overseas and the children are left on their own. We have children looking after children. And in that kind of scenario, you definitely have a situation where what we are now experiencing, a breakdown in the family structure occurring.
Would I presume, therefore, that the Roving Caregivers program does not limit itself only directly to the actual biological parents, but that you work with the community to appreciate?
Anybody in the community who has children, who are nurturing children in the age cohort, which is birth to 3 years.
Yeah, welcome
Can
to be a part
welcome
of
the program.
And in fact, very often other community members get very involved because they see the potential of the program and the benefits that it's having on the parents. So it could be the ordinary shopkeeper who ends up being the gatekeeper for the program, can tell you what time the caregiver has come, what time she left, or if she didn't show up. So you really get quite, you know, a multiplier effect in terms of the social networks that are being formed within communities because of something that touches at the core of families.
So it increases the sense of interdependence.
Oh yes, definitely.
So is there any kind of, I'm searching for the word, the best practice in terms of the number of families that each roving caregiver can actually work with?
Yes. One caregiver works with 30 children.
I see.
And what
so that would be 30 families? Or
not necessarily.
Maybe several children in
several
one?
children maybe. And you know, we have in Jamaica the yard, the big yard situation. So you may have 7 children in one yard. In a case like that, we have what we call cluster stimulation. So we get all of those children together, and the rover, or sometimes 2 rovers, work with those children. And what is happening now, the sense of family is coming together again, because in that one yard, you may have 3 or 4 families. And so we're trying to, as Susan said earlier on, it's not just the parents, the biological parents, the shopkeeper. In some instances, the stimulation takes place on the corner, or on the what you call the shop piazza, right before the shopkeeper's place.
I'm excited. I want to learn a lot more, but we need to take a break. We need to take a break. The Caribbean Child Support Initiative, as far as the Roving Caregivers program is involved, has been supported tremendously by the Bernard Van Leer Foundation. We really want to acknowledge that. And that has allowed the spread to Grenada, Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Belize. When we come back, we learn a little bit about the actual elements of the program, and we'll share why it is adaptable and transferable and some of the stimulation techniques. Do stay with us.
Taking care can be so easy. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Whether you're family, friend, or neighbor, come on, take a stand. A hug, a smile, a patience, or sometimes just to hold our hand.
A message from the Caribbean Child Support Initiative, a program of CARICAT with support from the Bernard Van Leer Foundation.
Take good care of the children.
A picture is worth 1,000 words. Got it? Taking care of us can be so easy.
Take good care of